guys, it's Banu here from Andro.com. In this video, I'm going to be giving you guys a complete guide that will help you select the right CCTV surveillance system for your home. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a lot of factors and help you understand which cameras are right for you. Just because CCTV cameras are available, just because the camera quality is high, or just because the price is too high, it might not necessarily be the right camera system for your home due to a lot of factors. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys today, and also show you guys how I went ahead and installed a CCTV surveillance system to my new home, so you can go ahead and get some inspiration from this and select the camera system that might be perfect for your use case. So the important point here is the use case, because the cameras that are right for me might not necessarily be right for you. So that's why I'm going to be explaining the process of doing all of this, and I will help you identify the right camera system for your home regardless of where you live. So if you guys are new to my channel, go ahead and smash that subscribe button right now. Let's go ahead and talk about CCTV systems right here in Sri Lanka. I'm going to be breaking this video down into a couple of sections, so it will be easy for me to get the points across, just like I did with the solar power system that I did here in Sri Lanka some time ago. In case if you guys haven't checked that video yet, I'll have a link for that down below in the description, as well as a link right here, so definitely go ahead and check that out as well. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the CCTV guide. The first part is the importance of a CCTV system. The most important part about having a CCTV system is that it will help you protect your home. Not only protect your home, but also get surveillance 24/7. If you set it up in the right way, you should be able to track your home. Even if you're going outside of the home, you should be able to use the mobile app or something to track what is happening. And not only that, if you use the right cameras, you can even use the two-way talking option to talk through the camera to whoever is maybe right outside, or even if a thief is inside, you can let them know that you are seeing everything, and you can get those recordings directly to your phone as well. So a lot to think about when selecting the CCTV system. I mean, it's really important because the rate of thieves are now going up tremendously, so it's really important that you have a CCTV system to protect your home. Having a CCTV system will also let you have evidence in case something goes wrong, or even if a thief comes or something happens, you always have evidence. Even if it is not a thief, even if something happens, like let's say a mine accident happens on your own vehicle, let's say you reverse your own vehicle to the gate by accident. So if you have that recorded evidence, you should be able to use it for insurance purposes and all of that as well. So it's important that you think about these little things before you go ahead and invest in a CCTV system, because it's important that you get these placements right for the cameras. Another important point is that you get the CCTV cameras positioned in a way that even if something goes wrong, it can be used as legal evidence for something. So it's important that you have the remote monitoring and all those features enabled, so you also have track of this. And also, if you select the right cameras, you will also get notifications in a very planned out way, like rather than getting notifications and each and every vehicle that's going on the road. If you plan it out and if you configure your CCTV system properly, you should be able to get proper notifications, getting rid of all the false positives. Now getting into the second part, I'm going to be talking now about the prerequisites for getting a CCTV system. The most important prerequisite before you install a CCTV system is that you plan out the rough locations that you would like to have the CCTV cameras installed. This is really important because the placement is really key. Depending on the place, you can go ahead and select the cameras with the right resolution so you can get the best out of it. Once you decide on the placements, it's important that you go ahead and do the right wiring. If you go ahead with a DVR, you have to identify the types of cables that you have to use for that. Or if you go ahead with an NVR, then you will have to have Cat6 cables to get the cameras ready. Now, the recommended option right now in 2024, in my opinion, is to use the IP cameras and use Cat6 cables, because now with the Cat6 cable you can use something called PoE, Power over Ethernet. So you don't need to have any power lines for each of these cameras. Everything is going to be powered either through the NVR or a PoE switch that you connect at the control station, right? So I'm going to be showing you all of this, and that's the same approach that I have gone for. So I will show you all of these steps in the installation section of this video. So you need to decide the placements of the cameras, and if your house is still under construction, then the ideal scenario is that you get the wires underneath, like, you know, before you do the plastering and everything, if you can break and put all the pipes and everything underneath, even the cabling under the, you know, the wall. Once the plastering is done, no one can find where the cables are. That is the ideal scenario. But if your house is already built, then the second best option is to go ahead and use casings to do the wiring for you. But I would strongly suggest you to get the wiring done early. And also, when you're getting the wiring done, please make sure that the Cat6 cables, if you use Cat6, are not bent too much. You have to be very careful, because those cables are really fragile. So if even that minor even a minor bend in the wrong way can really damage the cable and it will not work. So if you can, if it's a really serious place, I would even strongly suggest you to have 2 Cat6 lines if it is possible. I did that for some instances, because some of the lines that didn't work, because I did this and I had an extra line, it was easy for me to use that to get the camera system working. Now some of you might be thinking, yeah, I'm building a house right now, but I'm not going to be doing the CCTV system anytime soon. I have no hurry to install a CCTV system right now, so I'm not going to do the wiring. But for you, I would strongly still suggest you to go ahead and do the wiring for the CCTV system. Like, you know, for an example, if you're using NVR, using the Cat6 lines, that is strongly recommended, because even if you get your CCTV system down the line 1 year later or 2 years later or something like that, because you have the wiring, the cost is going to be considerably lower, and also the damage that can happen to your walls and the overall look will be more pleasing just to have a camera there rather than having casings going here and there. And it's even easy for a thief to just cut off the cable. If it is going through a casing line, it's only a matter of just removing the casing and just disconnecting the cable from the other end. Like, you know, if a camera is placed to the front, maybe they can come from the back and just cut off the cable from there and disconnect that completely. So that's why the placement of these cameras are really important. So my suggestion is, if you use one camera on this side, the suggestion is to use another camera on this side, so that each camera can be seen. So even if something is to happen to this camera, that can be monitored from this camera, right? So on and so forth. So it's easy for you to identify if something goes wrong. If a camera gets disconnected at a particular time, you can always go to that particular time on the other camera and see what that particular reason is and how that happened. So it's all useful to have all these things considered. The Cat6 cables are not only useful for the cameras themselves, but also for remote monitoring devices. Like, for an example, I had couple of places that I initially planned to have TVs to have dedicated CCTV streams coming in. So that way I was able to get clear idea about the entire surveillance of the house from various parts of my house, like rather than opening an app and all of that, I can have a monitor in my office, I can have a monitor in my bedroom, I can even have a monitor in the control station, and all those places. It's very easy. Even if a visitor comes, it's very easy that I have a monitor right there in the control station, so I don't have to take them inside the house. Even if the police comes to see some records, I don't have to take them all the way inside my house because of this placement. So it's easy access for all of this, and I can show whatever time that person wants to see, and if they give a USB flash drive, I can even copy the footage or grab it over WhatsApp and send it to the right parties as a help. So it's important that you plan these things out really well before you get started with the actual process of purchasing the CCTV systems and all of that. Now in my case, before I got the camera selected and all of that, initially when I was building the home itself, I thought about the placements and I did the wiring. I did the Cat 6 wiring. I actually had about 30 points, Cat 6 points that I had allocated. So that was a lifesaver for me to go ahead and get the CCTV systems installed, because the wiring was already done. If not, it would be a nightmare to get all the wiring done from the start again. Now we are going to move on to part 3, and that is how to decide the CCTV system that fits your property. Now there is no one fit model that will be perfect for your use case. There are going to be different camera models, camera options that are available. So you need to think about the overall plan really well before you go ahead with the cameras. So let me break this down to you so that you understand this really well. The most important thing is that you plan out your budget. You need to have a budget to decide how many cameras do I need. Is it 8 cameras, 16 cameras, and is it going to be wired cameras or wireless cameras, right? And if it is wired cameras, am I going to use a DVR, NVR, or am I going to use wired Wi-Fi cameras, right? You can think about a lot of scenarios like that. So now let me break this down to you and help you decide which one is right for you out of these options that I just explained. Now, in 2024, I personally would recommend you to go ahead with IP cameras, that is with a NVR. So DVR systems are now quite outdated, and there are quite a lot of limitations that are there with DVRs. For an example, you have to have dedicated power lines coming in for each and every point in the DVR, and there are limitations like no audio, and also the functionalities that are there in DVR systems are quite low compared to the IP based system. So if you are installing a system right now in 2024, my personal recommendation is that you go ahead with the NVR based system. So the configuration that I personally went for is, I went for a 8 camera setup to cover the entire property, but also I installed some wireless Wi-Fi cameras inside my house to monitor the internals of the home, right? So I separately set zones inside the home using these Wi-Fi cameras, and that is completely separate to the NVR system that I have. So the NVR system that I chose was a HikVision CCTV system. I've even made separate videos on HikVision products before, so you can go ahead and check out that video in case if you guys haven't seen that video. I'll have a link for that down below in the description as well. Now the reason why I selected a HikVision NVR system for the entire property and selected Wi-Fi based cameras for inside is because now with the Wi-Fi based systems that I have, there are only going to be SD cards that are going to be plugged inside the Wi-Fi camera itself. So if a thief comes and if I use the Wi-Fi based system outside, the thief can easily steal the camera and go, remove the camera, remove the SD card and go, and all that footage is going to be lost unless I have cloud backups enabled, and that's going to be costing a hefty amount. But instead, with the NVR approach, if I place the NVR in a right way, in a secure location, then even if the thief disconnects one camera, if you place the cameras in the right way, you can always get the right timing and observe from the secondary camera and try to understand what is going wrong and what is happening. And only you know your property really well to identify these placements. So for me personally, it took me quite a long time to decide on these cameras. First I made a plan and I sat and I thought about the placements, whether these placements were right or wrong, and I did this process couple of times before finalizing the cameras. And that's where the vendor that I chose, HikVision CCTV, actually helped me in this process as well. The vendor really helped me out in going ahead and getting that placement right. I will talk about HikVision later in this video when I'm talking about the vendor that I chose and the support that I got from them to install the CCTV system. So anyway, now once you decide on whether you want a DVR or NVR, the next thing is to go ahead and decide on whether you want dome based cameras or bullet based cameras, right? So dome based cameras are what you use to connect to ceilings and all of that, and the bullet based cameras are ones that you can connect to a wall, and it's more elongated and it's ideal for outdoor scenarios, right? But the dome based ones are mostly good for indoor environments. However, there are dome based cameras that can be used outdoor as well. So I have used both bullet and dome based combinations in my house. Lot of people who are going to invest in these cameras are getting lost because there are a lot of options. Even if you select HikVision, if you go to the HikVision website and see, there are a lot of camera options that are available, right? Not only the camera options are available, the camera options that are coming to Sri Lanka are sometimes different to the ones that are available in international markets. So even if you see a video comparison of what is there on the internet, it's quite difficult for you to decide. So that's where the experience center of HikVision comes into play. So even I was able to go to the experience center and see these cameras before I actually purchased it. I was able to see the quality of the cameras and decide which one is right for me. So it's important that you select a vendor who has that flexibility rather than just going to an unknown party and just selecting whatever cameras that you want to use in your house. This CCTV system should be a well thought out thing, so it's important that you plan it out well rather than just going and selecting whatever you feel like coming and fixing, because then that will, if you plan it out properly and if you use the right equipment, your CCTV system will withstand a long time, right? So it's important that you do that. And also talking about HikVision products, it's important that you select the best quality HikVision products. So I was told that HikVision cameras that are imported to Sri Lanka from China as well as from India, and both of these have different firmware options. So it's important that you select the best one that gets the latest updates, and I was told that the official authorized version that comes to Sri Lanka is the HikVision China product. So it's important that you select that and make sure that your firmware will always get the updates so that your system is always up to date. If not, you will have a system, even if you invest a lot of money into it, the system might not get any regular updates and you will lose out in the long term. Now, you also need to decide when you're selecting a HikVision based CCTV system, whether you want to go ahead with AcuSense cameras or ColorView cameras, or you want to use something that has different combinations of these things. So it's important that you go ahead and do background study on each of these cameras before you select by looking at the data sheet for each camera. So you can go to the internet, you can go to the HikVision website, you can select a particular camera just like this, and then you can go into the website, and then from here you can identify the data sheet and the user manual for the particular camera. From here you can get all the details of that particular camera, the configuration and all of these things. So it's important that you check all of these things, whether you select a HikVision based system or anything else. It's important that you do this background study before you go ahead and select the camera. You can go ahead and select whether it's a HD camera, whether it's a 4K camera, right? So you need to decide which one is right for you. Just because the 4K camera is the topmost one before you go ahead and select the 4K one, just remember that if you have 4K based camera, you will need lot of storage, because the 4K based camera is going to require a lot of storage. So you need to have a high capacity hard drive to have all of this recorded. So I personally went with NVR that supports the encoding for 4K cameras, but also supports the AcuSense functionality, so that I'll be able to get all the notifications and alerts that I want to get. And the AcuSense cameras actually have lot of important features that I was eyeing out for, because I'm a very technical person, but your mileage might vary, and if you're not so technical, the best thing to do is to consult experts like HikVision that will really come and sit and help you decide which one is right for you. Even in my case, even though I knew what I wanted, when I spoke with HikVision, they came and still consulted me on different camera configurations. They themselves suggested, why don't you go for this scenario. That's how I ended up having one of the more advanced cameras in the near the main gate. So I have a combination of an AcuSense camera as well as a color view camera at the main entrance. So I have full color coming in, as well as I have the motion tracking and all of that, the AI based motion tracking coming in from the other camera that I have. So I'm going to be talking about all of these things in the installation part of this video, so stay tuned for that. And another advice that I can give you based on the research that I did is it is advisable that you have a separate CCTV system for outside based cameras, as well as a separate system for internal cameras. So what I personally have done is I've used the HikVision CCTV system that I went for with the NVR, mainly for outside cameras, and to completely monitor the outside of my home and make sure that all those areas are secure. And for the internal ones, I use Wi-Fi based cameras like I said earlier, and in I use the same brand so that I can use all these three cameras in sequence for the 3 floors that I have, and every time I leave home I can arm it and leave. So when I come back, the cameras automatically go into the disarm state, so I don't get any notifications about someone going here and there. But when I'm outside, I can get these notifications through these Wi-Fi cameras, and that's really useful. So you can also plan it out like that, because the reason it is not recommended to use a larger CCTV system with even internal cameras is, in case something severe happens, if the police wants to take your NVR and go, then all the things that happened on the inside of the house will also go out. Right? So that's why you need to think about this really well before you go ahead with that. And another thing to consider is there are even unbranded cameras that are available for a very low rate that you can pick up. Even from Sri Lanka, if you go to PETA, you will be able to find a lot of cameras, NVRs with the NVR 8 camera system for a fraction of the price of a branded CCTV system. But the thing is, you need to think about the durability of the system and how secure these systems are, right? If you're using it outside, then it's fine, but especially if you're using it on the inside, then you have to be very careful about whether you trust these servers that are being used for these, because what if a cybersecurity attack happens to your cameras, and if those feeds are taken out, if your internal cameras are compromised, then that's going to be a major problem for you. So you need to think about all of this very well, and I strongly encourage you to enable encryption for all of the internal cameras that you use, so that all the data will only be stored to the SD card, and you don't have to worry about your data being stolen by a cybersecurity attack. And also you need to consider the area that you live in. Like if you live in closer to the beach just like me, then you have to consider the fact that due to the sea salt and everything, in the long run the cameras might get rust and all of that, or it could get damaged. So you need to make sure that you select the cameras that are suitable for outdoor use, right? The cameras that you can also claim warranty, so you need to think about all these things as well. Now when I was looking for CCTV cameras for my new home, I was actually even considering importing some really great CCTV systems that were not really available here. But then later, when I went through some of the reviews for some of those systems, what I realized is from real world customers, if there is a warranty claim, then it's going to be extremely difficult for me to get those things back into that original manufacturer to get it replaced, right? Whereas if I go with the HikVision system that is readily available in Sri Lanka, and if you get through an authorized partner, you get a really good warranty as well. So that will make sure that even if something happens to your CCTV system for at least 2 years where the warranty is valid, you are sure that your CCTV system is going to be there for you securely. And even if something happens, it's a matter of just replacing that broken component only, right? And the parts are going to be available. So it's important that you have that flexibility as well. Now I hope that you are clear about how to select the right CCTV system for your home. If you have more questions about any of these things, or if you are not sure about something, you can go ahead and drop a comment down below, and I will personally go ahead and look into it and try to help you guys out. If not, you can also get in touch with the vendor HikVision to get a consultation about your particular requirement as well, and I'll have their contact details down below in the description as well. While you're there, if you guys are new to my channel and if you're finding this video useful, definitely go ahead and smash that subscribe button and share this video with anyone who you think will find this type of video useful. For anyone who recently built a house or anyone who's planning to build a house, then this is going to be a really useful video for them to watch, because in the next section I'm going to talk about the vendor, and after that I'm going to show you the unboxing, setup and the configuration of all these cameras as well. Now let's get into the vendor and how to select the right vendor for your CCTV system. Now, just like I spoke to you guys about in the solar power system video that I did previously, it's important that you get quotations from a couple of places based on your requirements, right? In this case, it's important that you find a vendor who is able to come to your place, have a look at what you have get a look and feel for what you have, and try to give you a quotation based on that. And that's why I have personally shortlisted HikVision based on that. I actually reached out to a lot of people to get quotations, but some of these people didn't even visit the site but just gave me a random price. So what happens if the placement that I have in my mind is wrong, right? Then the quotation is not going to be valid and my price can go up. That's where HikVision really did a tremendous job of coming to my place, having a look at all these particular points that I had planned in my head, and even gave some useful suggestions. I can still remember the very first day that the owner came to my place to have a look at the area and to give me a quotation. He personally went to all these places and he himself just checked and suggested, what if we do like this, what if we use this type of camera here. And initially to monitor the roller gate that I had a bullet based camera in mind, but then the HikVision team suggested to me, rather than using a bullet based camera there, the best thing would be to use a dome based system there, dome based camera there, because when I use the dome based camera, not only can I see the gate, but I can also see the garage completely. And also because it's internal, it's it doesn't get wet or anything, so you don't have to worry too much about it. So we went with the AcuSense camera for that as well. So the HikVision team actually consulted me on the right NVR to get as well. Now, because I'm a spec head, I go ahead and look at the specs, what type of quality is, quality you can record, and what kind of storage capacity is there in each of these NVRs, and what kind of advanced features are available to us. So I went ahead and selected something on the higher end rather than using the regular NVR that is available. So we went for the K series NVR, and there was also an option to select 1x1 versus 2x1, where we can have two storage hard drives. But unfortunately, these systems doesn't have the RAID configuration. So like that By RAID, what I mean is, if something happens to one drive, it's not a duplicate that you have that is getting recorded. So it's just like, if one hard drive is full, then it automatically starts writing it to the secondary hard drive that we have. But in my case, rather than having 2-bay hard drives, what I selected is a 1-bay CCTV system with a higher capacity hard drive, because without the RAID functionality, actually for me having 2 storage devices doesn't make sense, because on a regular basis with the current system that I have installed, I get about 1.5 months backup with the 6 TB hard drive that I have selected. So because of that, I am able to get an idea, like, in case I want to capture something, I look at it and I instantly copy it or record it or capture it through WhatsApp, and I save that clip somewhere. Right? So because of that, I don't really need to have months and months of backup, and if I want, I can copy that only that particular part and save it separately. Right? So the HikVision team was really helpful in this process to decide on what camera system is right, and get the placements right, get the video quality right, and even get the configuration right. So so I want to really thank them for supporting me to get the best CCTV system installed in my house, and for all their hard work and dedication, because they put in a lot of work to ensure that the work is done to high quality standards. Even at my front main gate, they even installed some mounting brackets to get the camera a bit forward, so that I am able to get the maximum view there. So those were suggestions that came from their end, and those were things that they did. Even the wiring, they tested all the cables and just made sure that everything works well before we went ahead and started everything as well. So their service is really good, and that is why I thought of mentioning them in this video, so that even you guys can go ahead and try them out. They even have a experience center right here in Panadura, so it was very close for me. I'll have their location down below in the description. If you guys want, you can go ahead and visit them. I'll have their contact number as well, so you can go ahead and talk with them and get a consultation. And if you want to decide on the camera, you can go to their showroom, look at what they have. Whether it's a DVR system, NVR system, or IP based system, they have a lot of options there. So you can go ahead and visit them and speak with them and decide which one is going to be right for you. And another thing that I want to highlight is that HikVision comes in with 13 years of experience installing CCTV systems for many vendors. So because of that, they are truly experts at getting you the right camera system with the official warranty as well. So that is also extremely important, and they take responsibility over that. So you need to go ahead and select a vendor like that, because in case something goes wrong, we need someone to come and attend to it. If a camera is broken, we need them to come and fix, not someone who will say this and that and not show up. I mean, if the vendor doesn't even have the interest to come and visit your site just to have a look at your place before they give a quotation, if they are just going to give a random quotation based on the camera prices, and if they are going to outsource that work to some installation team, someone who will just come and fix it and go, then your responsibility that person has is just going to end there. And most of these people sometimes might not even have a proper shop, right? So if something happens and if those people disappear, then what happens to the warranty, right? You need to think about all these things before you select the CCTV system for your home. And another thing that I really enjoyed when working with HikVision is the way that they work. They are really experts at project management, because these guys properly use Trello in the workplace. Right? When I went into their office, they showed me their work process. It was really amazing to see. I'll even have a clip right here so that you guys have you can even see how well planned out these guys are. And even if one person doesn't come, even if it's a completely different person that comes to do the installation, all that information, all the placement guides and everything that is required for that particular installation is there in this Trello board. So anyone can actually look at this and do the installation for the site, because everything is laid out, even from the quotation to the right camera for right location. Even if the owner of the home is not there, or even if the owner is not so technical, you can really trust HZone to do the work on behalf of you and get it done perfectly, right? So that's the most important thing, that we select a vendor that you can trust, right? And that will get the work done in a perfect way. So that's really awesome, and that's why I thought of giving a shout out to HZone in this video. Now also, when selecting a vendor for your CCTV based system, just try to see if you can select a vendor that accepts credit card payments and all of that, because some of these credit cards have 0% installment payments for anything anywhere. So you can even get a really good CCTV system at fraction of a price, you know, on a monthly based installment. So even if you select a higher end system, you're not going to really feel that, right? So you can look into those options as well, because there are such options that are available right now in Sri Lanka. Now with HZone, what I did was, initially after discussing about the requirements and everything, because I had specific products in mind and specific use cases here, because I was also very technical and they were also technical, we had a couple of meetings to decide, discuss and finalize these products. And once it was finalized, they went ahead and ordered all the products. So I went ahead and made the advance payment and did all the, you know, we did all the paperwork, got all that cleared out, and after that we scheduled a date for the installation. After the date was scheduled, then the HZone team came to my place to get started with the work, and that's what I'm going to be covering in the next part of the video. And this is going to be the installation and configuration. Let me run down the entire installation and configuration of the CCTV system that I selected for my home, so that you guys can get an idea about this whole thing. After having some detailed meetings with the HZone team on the particular NVR I'm going to use and the particular cameras that I'm going to use, I finally selected the cameras that I wanted. So I went through a couple of quotations and identified the right ones that fit into my budget and fulfill all of my requirements. So these are all the cameras that I have. So let me explain what I have gone with here. So I've gone with a mixture of ColorView cameras as well as AcuSense cameras here, and I'm using a K series NVR here as well. I had a very specific requirement of having a built-in microphone in the main camera right outside my gate, so that I can have the two-way audio facility available there. However, at the start there was a little bit of an issue getting my hands on that particular camera model that I wanted. So because of that, the HZone team went with a ColorView camera instead of the AcuSense camera for that position temporarily, and once they got the new stock of that AcuSense model that I wanted, they agreed to replace it for free. So I was really happy with this arrangement, so I went ahead with that, and I will show you the exact camera I got there at the end. So these are the cameras that I have selected. I have the ColorView bullet camera, and I also have the ColorView light dome camera. On top of that, we have the NVR over here. So as you can see, this is the K series 7600 NVR that I have over here. Next we have a gigabit PoE switch. So I could have actually got the NVR with the PoE built in, but after discussion with the HZone team, I decided it's better to go with a separate PoE switch rather than having it built into the NVR. Now what I'll do is I'll quickly go ahead and unbox one of these cameras and show you guys what comes inside. So with the ColorView cameras, you get the drilling template, you get the user manual just like this, you get some screws, and also you get the camera just like this. And we also get some other accessories inside the box just like this. It's almost the same set of stuff for all the other cameras as well. Now having a look at the NVR, grabbing it out of the box for the very first time, you can see at the back we have a port for HDMI, there's a port for VGA as well as USB and power and LAN. So this is what the NVR looks like. I'm going to put that into the box, and we also get the HIK Partner Pro leaflet over here included inside the box, along with the user manual, the charging adapter, and we also get the RJ45 cable, couple of other connectors like to connect the hard drive onto the NVR and all of that, some screws, and even a mouse is included right inside of all of this. Now let's go ahead and get into the PoE switch. So this is what the PoE switch looks like, and that is also a HikVision branded PoE switch that I've gone with over here. And this is a gigabit Ethernet PoE switch, as it says right here, and this is the 8-channel model that I have over here. Right inside the box we get the power adapter, huge power brick as well, and that's about it. When it comes to the AcuSense camera models, for the dome camera as well as the bullet camera, we almost get the same stuff, so I'm not going to repeat that, but I'll just let you guys see all the stuff that you get inside the box when you get the AcuSense cameras as well. On top of all of that, I also got this 6TB hard drive. This hard drive is sufficient to record about 1.5 months of footage, so that's more than enough for my requirement, because whenever there's an important incident, I quickly back it up and place it onto a secure storage device, so I have nothing to worry about. After the unboxing, we went ahead and set up the NVR with the hard disk and all of that, so that it would be ready by the time all the cameras are installed and all of that was done. So we screwed it up and got the NVR ready for the cameras. After this was done, the next step was to go ahead and clean up all my Cat6 cables. So the HZone team actually came on a previous day and inspected all the cables as well, and what they have to bring for this installation as well, and went ahead and selected what they wanted for this installation as well, because for different locations you will need different sets of equipment. So they went ahead and cleaned up all the cables very methodically, took their time and checked all the cables, because like I said earlier, I had about 30 points of Cat6 wiring, so most of the cables were not even numbered properly, so they really had to put in some time and effort to identify which cable is which and get that sorted out properly very first. And after connecting all the RJ45 cables and all of that properly, the team went ahead and got all the cables sorted out. They identified all the camera cables separately, so it's easy to get started with the installation of the cameras. Once that was done, they went ahead to the front gate where we had two of the main cameras there. So they went ahead and got started with the very first camera, and here what they did was they even used a mount here to place this camera, so that because I have some creepers that are falling from the wall, so in order to make sure that there aren't going to be any obstructions, they placed this mount and fixed the camera onto that. That way the laser will be focusing properly on the road and not the plants and all of that. So it's very nice, and they did a very professional job with the installation. After the outside cameras were fixed, they came into the inside cameras, and we had two dome cameras to be fixed, and they got the drilling template also pasted up and got the installation done perfectly. Then we moved on to the back cameras that I had and got all of that sorted out as well. And they were quite methodical in this process. They were not rushed at all. They took their time and went through it properly and made sure that they did a professional job with this. After fixing the rear camera, we moved on to the poolside camera, and this was the camera that we had quite a discussion on, because I had this palm tree over here, so I had to make sure that I come up with a good position for this camera. So they really consulted me on this and helped me figure out the perfect angle for this camera. Once all of that was done, we moved upstairs and moved on to the laundry room section where I had a camera there. So that was done, and once all of that was done, we moved to the third floor where I had a separate camera to cover my rear garden. Once all these cameras were fixed, they went ahead and gave the connections to all the cameras, and they went ahead and set up the PoE switch and got all the cables hooked up to it. Initially when we got started, because I had a lot of cables here, they did all the wiring here inside this separate area that I had built for the NVR, PoE switch and all of my other networking gadgets and all that. When it comes to the display, I actually got a separate monitor here to the network room that I have here. This is actually for my convenience, because let's say a visitor comes or someone from the outside comes, it's very easy for me to bring them here, just open it up and show them all the footage right from this. So I don't have to take them inside the house or do anything like that. And even when I'm not at home, if I want someone to come and see something, I can have the guest profile enabled and I can let them see it from here. So I got a separate Dell monitor here, hooked it up to the wall. So after all the cameras were hooked up, then it was about getting all of these configured properly. So the HikVision team, they were quite confident with this. They knew what they were doing. They took some time, but they configured everything really well, and at the end they sat and made sure even the adjustments of the cameras and all of that were done very perfectly and professionally as well. So I've been using these cameras for the past 6 months or so at this point, and it's been really great. But very recently they finally got the stock for the camera that I wanted. So this is the AcuSense dark fighter network camera that I have. So they have gone with the dome based camera here, but the reason for me to go with this one is because this has the alarm feature. So not only does it have the light alarm, it also has the buzzer alarm. So I can actually put a siren every time motion is detected through this. So it's pretty cool. So that's one of the main reasons I wanted to have this camera. So whenever I'm not at home, I can just enable this and go and especially in the night and all of that, in case someone gets into my perimeter, it will be detected through this camera. And this camera has a lot of good AI features also built into it, so it's quite accurate. And based on what I read online, this has very low false detections. So I just wanted to give this a shot. So they came and installed this camera free of charge for me, like as in they just replaced what I had with this new camera, because I actually paid initially for this particular camera when I made that initial payment, because I was so interested in getting this particular camera. So once that installation was done, they again went ahead and did some configurations here. There are a lot of configurations that are available, but it depends on your location and the requirement that you have in your mind as well when it comes to CCTV. And that's why I think you guys should go to a trusted place like HikVision that has over 11 years of experience in the industry. So these guys know what they are doing. While the configuration was going on, they also went ahead and fixed the time and did all those basic things. They did some optimizations to the images, adjusted the brightness, contrast, exposure and all those things, gave proper namings to all the cameras. And there's also a feature that is available here on all these cameras called privacy mask. So if you want to hide something, you can hide a particular area directly from the NVR itself using this feature. And they went ahead and did all the necessary updates and finally finished up the installation by installing this little server box until I go ahead with that server rack. This is what the HikVision app looks like, and from the home screen, after you add your NVR and all your cameras linked into it, you can see all the cameras just like this from here. And if you click on this option, you can see the playback of all the cameras from the top. And also from here you get playback controls. You can capture picture, record a clip real fast, use the two-way talk option and all of that from here, change the grid size and all of that as well. If you go into the playback option, you can see all the previous footage and do any necessary changes or skip through any footage. So when I come back into the home screen, once again I just want to show you that you can go into the share option from here and you can actually share this with another user, someone living in your home. Like for an example, I've shared this with my wife so she can see the same stream as me, live playback, and all those options are enabled. But you can also enable sharing with a service provider like I have done here. I have shared it with HikVision for the service and configuration settings. So if you want, you can provide the remote service for HikVision so that they can only provide the necessary updates to us remotely, but they won't be able to see live footage from our CCTV system or do any sort of playback or anything like that. All those settings they configure. Go under services, you can see that HikVision is listed right here, so I can go into this and just show you their details. So if you want to get a great CCTV system, just give them a call and get a quotation. And if you go under the notification section, you will see all the notifications that you have got within the day for all the motions that have been detected. And if you go under the me category, you can adjust the account settings. So that's about it for the app. Pretty straightforward app, but it gets the job done. It works smoothly. Just make sure that you get the network configuration done properly on your
NVR and make sure that you have a stable internet connection there, so that the playback and everything happens really smoothly on the app. And when you're in the local network, the app works really smoothly, so you don't have to wait hours and hours or use a mouse or keyboard with the NVR itself. You can just use the app, look at whatever footage you want, even extract bits and pieces and share it over WhatsApp. It's very easy, very convenient. So the HikVision app is great in that way, and I think you should definitely give this one a shot.
Majority of this video was shot in early 2024. However, I didn't publish this video because I also wanted to check the durability of the cameras and the overall service in the long term. So that's why I'm recording this particular section of the video in January of 2025 now. So I want to share with you a couple of things that happened in the time that I used the cameras in the past year, and explain and show you guys how the cameras are doing right now. Actually, we have the 8 camera setup for the main cameras. On top of that, I also decided to go ahead and install a couple of Wi-Fi cameras that I have spread out throughout the house. Not only do I have those Wi-Fi cameras on the inside, but also outside. Dual lens cameras were also fixed in this time frame by the HikVision team, and also within this time span of the past 1 year, actually there were 2 cameras that malfunctioned. It stopped working completely. So the HikVision team came, did the inspection and all of that. Even the camera at the back over here, the one that I had in the garage, it completely stopped working, and even the one that I have in the main entrance covering the main gate, even that stopped working for no reason, and they got a replacement unit for those particular cameras. So it was back and running in no time. They actually streamlined the area that I had over here and installed the server rack, and we even installed the network switches and everything over here with a proper UPS, and everything is just centralized over here. Just works really well, and they spent, I think, about 3 days to configure all of this, because I had about I think when we completed everything, we had over 30 network points. In the past year, we added a couple of more points. So because of that, now it's much more complicated, but they did a really good job with this. As you can see, that's the outdoor main camera that I have over there. I use that for the motion tracking and event tracking a lot. So that's over there, and we also have another camera right over there as well. So that's the Colorful one, and this is the primary AcuSense model that gives me all the alerts and notifications and everything at the main gate. So that's the setup that I have over here, and I just wanted to give you this update on the cameras and how they are performing. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Well, that's about it for this part of the video. I just wanted to add this in so that the video is complete, and I can also share my perspective when it comes to the durability as well as support that I got within the time span of a year from the HikVision team. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, and if you appreciate the effort I put in to test out all these things, to record all of these things, really good, I would appreciate if you can go ahead and share this video with a friend or anyone who wants to pick up a CCTV system right here in Sri Lanka. Now let's go back to the original video. This part was not really planned. I just added in to complete the video. Now we are going into the conclusion. Now finally we are coming into the conclusion chapter here, and I hope all the previous chapters were insightful for you, and that I was able to get all this information across to you in a way that you understand. Like I said earlier, if you have any doubts about any of this, if you are not sure about something, if you are not sure about a particular camera, then let me know what your question is down below in the comment section, and I will definitely help you out. And like I said earlier, if you want to get a good CCTV system for you right here in Sri Lanka, then definitely give a call to HikVision and at least get a quotation and see how their prices are, because their pricing is also quite good, and also their service is really good, as you saw previously in the installation and all of that. Their work is really neat, so that's why I'm giving a shout out to them in this video. And also let me know if there's any other area that you guys want me to cover in future in my channel, and also there are other specific parts in my home that I would like to show you guys. So if there's anything like that, let me know down below in the comment section, or you can reach out to me on social media. I'm at Andro. All the links are given down below in the description as well. While you're doing that, if you're new to my channel and if you're not subscribed, definitely go ahead and smash that subscribe button right now, because that keeps me motivated to make more insightful videos like this, because these kinds of videos are very hard to make because this packs a ton of information. It takes a lot of time to research on all of this and get all of this shot and bring it across to you guys in a presentable way. So I spend a lot of time and effort to make these videos, so your support in sharing and getting the word across about Andro will keep me motivated to make more awesome videos just like this in the future. And I hope you got something out of this video, and let me know what other videos you have in mind for future videos so that I can make that happen as well. And until I see you guys in my next video, this is Banu signing out.